I stumbled on a text in my girlfriend Lisa's phone. "If you didn't have a boyfriend, could we get back together?" Her reply was just a single word: "Sure." I showed her the message thread, telling her to ditch that dude. She got annoyed and fired back, saying he was just her first love. They were just reminiscing about old times. So what? She figured I'd still be the same, always catering to her, being her total simp. But the next day, I had already moved out of our rented place and blocked her on WeChat. She freaked out. A week earlier, Mike had drunk and called Lisa. So Lisa bailed on me quickly, but that was the day I was supposed to have surgery. I waited nervously at the hospital, dealing with the pain, hoping to see her one last time for some support before the operation. But when I finally got her on the phone, she was yelling, "Mike got drunk, I'm worried about him, don't call me unless it's something urgent." Then the line went dead with a busy signal. She was stressing about Mike, her first love, her bright moonlight, possibly in trouble from too much drinking. But she never realized that in my last moments before surgery, I was desperately hoping for just a word of encouragement from her. After the surgery, waking up from the anesthesia, everything felt numb. Looking around the empty ward, my empty mailbox and phone, my heart was numb too. I never got mad at Lisa. No matter how she acted before, I was always obedient, loving her like it was day one. But this time, I was kind of fed up. After getting out of the hospital, I stayed with a buddy instead of going back to the place I shared with Lisa, until Lisa tracked down my friend's spot, bringing me my favorite fruits and 2 movie tickets. She rarely offered a way out before. Back in the day, no matter how pissed I was, I had to chill first, then go sweet-talk her regardless of who was right or wrong. Our relationship was always like that from the start. When hanging out with friends, they'd joke and call me a love fool. But I always thought that if I cherished Lisa enough, giving her my all, she'd eventually see and appreciate my sincerity. But this time, even though she came to make it work, she still did it with this righteous vibe. A grown man with such low tolerance. Didn't the surgery go well? Why can't you just go with the flow like before? That one line made me see that maybe Lisa always knew my sincerity. She knew, but in her heart, my sincerity was like dust. So she didn't value it. On the day of the surgery, as the anesthesia kicked in, I thought about our 3 years together. As I passed out, I still heard Lisa's harsh words. "Don't call me unless it's important." In the end, I realized that in front of Mike, I, her current boyfriend, could be tossed aside any time. Even on my surgery day, when I was at my weakest, needing someone by my side the most, even knowing I was planning to propose to her after, moving our relationship forward, she still ditched me without a second thought. I can't count how many times stuff like this happened since Mike entered our lives. She only cared about whether Mike was happy. Mike getting drunk was a big deal to Lisa, but my need for company during surgery was brushed off as a lack of manliness. The difference was clear. Eventually, I went back to the rented apartment with Lisa. Because of work, I had a ton to handle on my laptop, which was back home with Lisa. As soon as I got back, I locked myself in the study to catch up on missed work from the past few days, until Lisa knocked on the door. "Alex, didn't you say you had something important to do after surgery?" I was about to propose to Lisa, and she knew it because a few weeks ago, I took her to pick out a perfect diamond ring. The ring was big and shiny, blindingly bright. I thought it'd make her happy, but Lisa thought I was too basic. When I wanted to give her a gift, I always made sure it was right for her, something she liked. But that could never compete with the surprises Mike gave her. I stayed silent in the study, and Lisa kept talking on her own. "If you don't speak, I'll use the key to come in. After this proposal, I'll go meet your folks with you." I had no choice but to respond weakly. "Okay, if I'd known earlier how much you valued my proposal, I'd have been thrilled." But this time, I felt an odd resistance inside. Lisa wanted me to book a table at her fave restaurant. We agreed to meet after work in the evening, but I waited till the restaurant closed, and Lisa never showed up. During that time, I was worried about her safety and called her several times, but the line was always busy. Finally, I went back to the rented apartment. Through the closed door, I heard Lisa's voice. She was singing. Her voice was light and soft. Lisa sang beautifully. What first drew me to her was her singing voice. But after we got together, no matter how much I begged her to sing, she never did. San, when we were together before, you always sang this song for me. Do you remember? It turned out she was on the phone with Mike, and I heard his voice on the other end. Meanwhile, I got a notification from WeChat Moments. Mike had posted a new update. Today's like the past. Glad your voice and you are still here. He attached a video of Lisa singing. Seeing this post, it happened to be midnight. The fireworks I had arranged for Lisa were blooming outside the window with a loud bang, lighting up the sky with 1,000 colors, brilliantly. Lisa excitedly shouted into the phone, "Mike, there's beautiful fireworks here. Wait for me to open the video to show you." As the fireworks died down, my heart turned to ashes. All the feelings vanished with the fireworks. Late at night, Lisa knocked on the study door. I didn't want to answer, but she kept knocking. Eventually, I forced myself to open the door. Lisa's eyes were slightly red, like she'd been crying. She hurried in, trying to throw herself into my arms, but I stepped aside. This move made Lisa kinda mad. "Alex, what's up?" Her phone was still lit up, showing a WeChat chat window with a close-up photo of her and Mike. I had once asked her to change that photo, but she argued, saying I was too hung up on her past, and we had a big fight. In the end, I didn't bring it up again. I thought that by slowly helping her move on from that relationship, she'd fall in love with me, and everything would eventually get better. But after 3 years, I was indeed kinda tired. I couldn't warm Lisa's heart. Mike was having some money problems. "Can you help him?" Seeing my silence, Lisa still walked over and grabbed my hand, her tone much softer. "After all, he's also our old classmate." I almost laughed, not even wanting to look at Lisa. So on the night I was going to propose to her, she couldn't even tell me, ditching our date just to comfort her first love and sing to him. After reminiscing about the past so fondly, she still wants me to help him out. What do you think I am? After hearing my words, Lisa, as usual, stayed righteous. He called me saying he was in trouble. I couldn't just leave him, could I? I opened WeChat Moments and showed her my phone. If he's in such financial trouble, how does he have the energy to post on WeChat Moments to keep reminding me of him? "Lisa, I'm so tired, and I gotta work tomorrow." I pushed Lisa out the door, letting her call me heartless. To show her where I stood, Lisa moved back to her place. She took most of her stuff but didn't take Buddy, her dog. After we got together, he became my dog. When he got sick, I took him to the vet at midnight. I handled all his daily needs. Before, when I held Lisa and Buddy, I'd happily sigh about how good life was with them, even though it was exhausting. After Lisa moved out, I patted Buddy's head and he seemed fine. Well, I was the one taking care of him all along. Just when I thought life was settling, Mike showed up. As a man, I don't think you need to treat Buddy like that. I almost laughed. "Buddy," he called her so intimately, like Lisa was his girlfriend. How I treated Lisa was none of his business. Besides, I'd already given enough of my heart. I reached out to close the door, but Mike stopped me. "If you don't treat Lisa well, I don't mind taking her back." His words were full of provocation. I snapped back. "Addicted to someone else's stuff, huh?" As I expected, within minutes, Lisa texted me saying we should break up, and Mike sent a provocative message. "She's not yours anymore?" I turned off my phone, overwhelmed by the noise. I still vividly remember the last time Lisa said she wanted to break up. It started because I lost Lisa's handmade bag. I'd given Lisa countless designer bags, but she treasured that one the most. After it was lost, she had a huge fight with me and heartlessly broke up with me. I thought it had special meaning because she made it herself. So I stayed up several nights to make an identical one for her. But the difference was I made this one more carefully, more complete, way better than the original rough one. When I gave the bag to Lisa, she looked at it like it was a joke and stomped on it. "Alex, don't be so pathetic. No matter how well you make it, it'll never be the same as that bag." She mocked me harshly, and I had to silently endure it. Later, I found out the bag was precious because Mike gave it to her, and no matter how many expensive bags I gave or how well I made one, it was all useless. Why did I have to be so self-degrading? After Lisa moved out, I felt a peace in my heart I'd never felt before. It was like my heart was still numb from the surgery. Lisa posted food pics on her moments. While Mike posted her silhouette, she posted matching questions for Mike to answer. And Mike rated them a perfect score. They played these little games on their moments, enjoying them endlessly. The only feeling I had was that something was slowly peeling away from my heart, bit by bit. Painful, but bringing an unprecedented sense of relief. Until Lisa's mom brought her to me. Lisa didn't look well. She must have been forced by her mother. Mike came along too, probably following Lisa. Despite the conflicts between Lisa and me, I had no reason to disrespect her elders. I respectfully invited them in. When Mike came in, I gave him a cold glance, uninvited, no reason to be here. Lisa looked annoyed. I'm also the owner here. I invited him. I was stunned. Even in front of elders who knew about our relationship, she didn't hide her defense of Mike. During dinner, considering Lisa's mom's taste, I made several spicy dishes. When I brought the dishes to the table, Lisa thoughtfully brought a bowl of water. I remembered Mike was a southern guy and couldn't handle spicy food, but it also reminded me of when Lisa mocked me for being a man who couldn't handle spicy food. So I forced myself to eat spicy food to suit her taste, even though it upset my stomach. But turns out true love doesn't require you to change yourself. Mike couldn't eat spicy food, and Lisa naturally prepared a bowl of water for him. But she never cared that I needed to avoid spicy food after my surgery. My efforts turned into a joke. Mike smiled as he pulled the bowl of water towards him and said meaningfully to me, "Alex is always so considerate." She was indeed considerate, but not to me. I knew Mike was trying to provoke me, but I didn't care anymore. After the dinner party, Lisa's mom forced her to stay. Her mom thought highly of me. So every time we fought, she'd mediate, and Lisa would go along with it. This was a scenario I was all too familiar with. After her mom left, I went to feed Buddy as usual. And who would have thought that when I opened the door, Buddy bolted out of the room. On the sofa, Lisa and Mike were chatting happily, laughing uncontrollably. It was obvious Buddy's appearance messed with their vibe. Buddy seemed to sense a strange, threatening presence, growling at Mike. Mike laughed, pointing at Buddy. "This must be Alex's dog, right?" That laugh had a hint of mockery. His dog's just like him, keeping everyone at a distance. But before he could finish laughing, Buddy seemed to understand and lunged at him. Mike let out a scream, his hand already scratched. In my heart, I was cheering for Buddy, but instead, Buddy let out a yelp as Lisa kicked him hard. Worse, she was wearing the high heels I'd recently bought her. I quickly ran forward to protect Buddy, who was terrified and shaking at my feet. He looked up at me with tearful eyes, filled with a silent plea. I understood. He wasn't in pain just because he was kicked, but because the one who hurt him was Lisa, his once beloved owner. For a moment, my heart felt like it was being ripped apart. "Alex, it bit someone. Why are you still protecting it?" Lisa looked at me coldly, her eyes burning with anger towards me and Buddy. In some ways, I felt a lot like Buddy, really similar, at least when it came to Mike. We were both the ones abandoned. Turning around, Lisa put on a different face with a look of concern. She rolled up Mike's sleeve, suppressing the anger rising in me. I picked up Buddy and started to leave. Unexpectedly, Lisa kept chasing after us. She whispered, "You should give him up soon." It felt like a bucket of cold water was dumped on me. Sorrow overwhelmed me more than heartbreak. That's what it meant. Covering Buddy's ears, I turned back and yelled, "Lisa, that's enough." Maybe because I'd never been so fierce with her. Lisa looked at me in disbelief. Under her stunned gaze, I walked out, carrying Buddy. Without looking back, I took Buddy to the vet. Luckily, the doctor said he was just scared and wasn't seriously hurt. On the way back, Buddy seemed to sense something, constantly nuzzling his head against my face. I tried several times to smile at him, but I couldn't. Memories of everything that happened between Lisa and me flashed through my mind. Lisa, she wasn't worth it. Since that was the case, there was no need for me to hold on. When I got home, Mike was already gone. Lisa was sitting in a corner of the living room. She wasn't wearing shoes and ran over to me barefoot when she saw me, trying to take Buddy into her arms. But Buddy hid in my arms as soon as he saw her. I didn't have the energy to deal with her and walked inside after taking off my shoes. "Alex?" Lisa called out to me. "You never used to treat me like this." I smiled without turning back. "But you've always treated me this way." Back in the study, I turned on my phone, and a few housing ads popped up. How timely. Actually, after the surgery, I started looking at houses near my workplace. The reason I hadn't acted was that I was waiting. Maybe waiting for Lisa to completely let me down. I didn't know. I just knew I wanted to escape this little nest with Lisa as quickly as possible. Maybe because my attitude was different this time. Lisa finally couldn't stand it anymore. She opened the study door and lay down beside me. Just as she reached out to hold me, I turned away. At that moment, a message from Mike popped up on her phone beside her. "Miss you." The photo was still the same. It used to feel like 1,000 needles stabbing me, but now it just seemed ridiculous. I reached out, grabbed her phone, opened the message, and started scrolling up. I just wanted to see how far these two could go. Their chats were casual, but filled with a strong desire to share everything. Mike was everywhere in Lisa's life. I was just too blind to see it. Scrolling further up, there was another conspicuous and heartbreaking message. "If you didn't have a boyfriend, could we get back together?" So shameless, so disgusting. And Lisa's short reply was even worse. Yes. This message was sent right before Lisa broke up with me. Lisa seemed a bit guilty as she reached out to take her phone from me. Her face stayed calm. "Alex, let's not fight." "Okay." I sneered and handed her the chat log. "Fine, then delete him." Lisa, feeling exposed, took the phone and impatiently questioned me. "He was just my first love. We were just reminiscing about our youthful days. Is that not okay?" I nodded. If it was so beautiful and he's still around, why reminisce? Wouldn't it be better to rekindle that beauty? If it was so awesome, then stop making me sick. I moved out of the place I shared with Lisa, quickly finding an apartment in the city. Previously, we rented a house far from the city because her job was in a remote suburb. But now, I no longer had to drive 2 hours round trip every day, feeling exhausted from driving and then coming home to work on projects. This feeling was wonderful. I also blocked Lisa on WeChat. Before, she was the one always blocking me. I wondered how she felt now seeing that red exclamation mark. Of course, I didn't have the energy to care. Recently, the company landed a big deal, and as the main person in charge, I've been super busy. Finally, one weekend, Lisa's best friend called me. She said something serious had happened in Lisa's family and she wanted to see me, although I didn't fully believe her. I felt that Lisa and I needed to meet one last time to end this relationship and uproot these 3 years of emotions completely, with no lingering ties. When I got to Lisa's place, she was cooking, something she never did when I was around. She looked much more haggard, with puffy eyes showing she'd cried a lot. Lisa's dad had been framed for extortion and put in jail. After multiple failed appeals, her mom got sick and was hospitalized. As Lisa told me this, I felt a heavy weight in my heart. I realized that ending this relationship wasn't as simple as I thought. I pulled some strings to hire the best lawyer and went with Lisa to the hospital to see her mom. For a month, I ran back and forth between the hospital and court. I thought that with such serious stuff, Mike would be by Lisa's side, but I didn't see him once that month. It wasn't until the day Lisa's dad was cleared that Mike finally showed up. At the hospital, standing from a distance, I couldn't hear what they were saying. I only saw Lisa's agitated emotions, likely saying some accusatory words. She'd never had a heated argument with Mike before. This was the first time, but I just stood there, holding a cup of coffee, watching silently from afar. It no longer mattered to me. After their conversation, Mike left, and Lisa approached me, her eyes red, and after a long pause, she finally said, "Alex, I'm sorry." Those 3 words, "I'm sorry," were so light, so easy to say, but I'd endured immense pain during these days. My heart was ripped open, shattered, ground down, and finally put back together. That apology was the last thing I needed. I took Lisa back home. As I was about to leave, she suddenly rushed forward and hugged me. She wanted me to bring Buddy back to live with her. Her tone was full of pleading. She was as humble as I used to be, but I couldn't let her go through what I had because I knew how painful it was. I comforted Lisa, had her sit down, and promised that if she needed help in the future, she could ask me. But Lisa's tears wouldn't stop. So I went to the room to get her some tissues. Upon entering the study, I was stunned. The layout was totally different. The succulents I kept on the windowsill were gone, replaced by basketball-themed curtains. The whole room was filled with a men's cologne I'd never smelled before. Next to the bookshelf was a pair of leather shoes. They were Mike's. I recognized them. He had posted about them on his Moments, saying they were a meticulously chosen birthday gift from Lisa. I just stood there for a moment, then grabbed the tissues from the desk. I should have known. Lisa appeared behind me, calling my name softly, seeming a bit lost, hastily explaining, "Didn't I tell you Mike was having financial troubles while you were moved out? I thought the study was just sitting empty." I turned around and handed her the tissues, but her tears had already dried. "Remember to have Mike transfer me the rent." Then I left without looking back. Lisa started showing up frequently outside my office building. At lunch, she'd bring homemade meals to my desk, and after work, she'd wait for me at the main entrance. The meals were authentic spicy dishes, despite my many refusals. She kept it up. One time, while getting coffee, I overheard my colleagues whispering, "How strange. We've known Alex for so long, and this is the first time we've seen his girlfriend." "Yeah, he used to only post about her on WeChat Moments, but we've never seen her at the office." I walked over and corrected them. "She's not my girlfriend anymore." I used to like showing up at Lisa's workplace, driving over during her lunch break to eat with her, bringing flowers to pick her up after work. I thought all girls liked that, but Lisa thought I was too clingy, not giving her enough personal space, and she told me not to come to her workplace anymore, until one day I found out the real reason was that Mike was there. I was insanely jealous, but Lisa only said, "Mike doesn't suffocate me like you do." Thinking about this, I almost laughed. She always justified her lack of boundaries so grandly, even righteously. Another time after work, it started raining heavily. I sent the completed project to my boss for review and prepared to leave. A female colleague asked if I minded walking with her since she didn't have an umbrella. I knew this colleague. She was quiet and from the marketing department. If it were before, I'd have refused, fearing Lisa might overthink it. But now I just felt it was a simple favor. I agreed and walked with her. Stepping out of the company door, I saw Lisa waiting there. She looked kinda annoyed, even a bit accusatory, but she still approached. "I can give you a ride home." I raised the umbrella in my hand and said, "No need. Besides, I've already agreed to help someone else." After getting home, Lisa sent me a text. She said she now understands how I felt back then. I didn't reply. She wouldn't understand. Her feelings are far from a fraction of mine. Life went on as usual, with Lisa continuing to do the same things, making lunchboxes and waiting for me after work. She even started to care about Buddy, which was rare. She'd ask what brand of dog food Buddy liked, buy various toys for him, and even took on the task of walking him. So she was capable of doing all these things. Then what was it before? In front of Mike, she chose to ignore both me and Buddy. I never thought there'd come a day when Lisa and I would reverse roles. But facing her enthusiasm, I couldn't muster any energy and was tired of dealing with it. Finally, on a rainy night, she appeared at my door in a sexy dress, soaking wet, seemingly having had some drinks, and started pouring out countless feelings of longing. It was then that I realized this should end. Fearing she might catch a cold, I let her in, gave her a towel, and prepared some ginger tea. I hoped that when this relationship ended, we could both leave with some dignity. "Alex, you still care about me, right?" Lisa lay half reclined on the sofa, looking at me with a dreamy expression, her eyes filled with indescribable emotions, but I couldn't meet her gaze. I knew exactly what it felt like to care. Those restless nights, tossing and turning with anxiety, being so sensitive that every little move Lisa made would tug at my heartstrings, choosing to give despite being covered in wounds. But it wasn't this feeling now. Before I could speak, Lisa's phone lit up. I didn't mean to look, but the phone kept vibrating. It was the same old story, the screen showing a photo of Lisa and Mike, with Lisa smiling so happily. I forced a smile and gestured for Lisa to answer. Looks like you should take care of your own matters first. That day, I insisted on driving Lisa home. After handling all the company stuff, I took a leave of absence to avoid seeing Lisa again. But Lisa was relentless. She texted, called, and even reached out to my friends. In the end, she contacted my parents. I had mentioned Lisa to my parents many times before, always praising her to leave a good impression. My parents were eager to meet my girlfriend, but Lisa never agreed. I'd begged Lisa to meet my parents once. She always said she didn't have time and to wait a bit longer. That wait lasted 2 years. Later, I realized she just didn't want to meet my parents. She had time to go on dates with Mike under the guise of friendship, time to go to Mike's favorite basketball games, but no time to visit my parents with me. When my parents arrived, Lisa was with them. It looked like Lisa had charmed them, making them really happy. As they entered, my parents had smiles on their faces. During dinner, Lisa kept up the image of a good girlfriend, serving me food and talking about my habits like she knew them by heart, making jokes to entertain my parents. God knows how much I'd longed for this scene, but now it filled me with dread. After dinner, I pulled Lisa into the room. Now that we're done eating, you should go home and don't contact my parents again? Lisa was stunned and then became agitated. Alex, just because of what happened with Mike, you're shutting me out completely. Didn't you used to tolerate and forgive me? As soon as the words left her mouth, she realized she said something wrong and stopped. But in my mind, I could already hear the next words she wanted to say. Why can't you continue to tolerate me now? Why can't you keep watching as my balance tips towards Mike while still pampering me, letting me do as I please? Why can't you keep watching me reminisce about my first love's sweetness, getting jealous and losing your mind? Why can't you just bear with me a little longer? So she knew all along. She knew I was tolerating her, which is why she kept pushing my limits. She knew about boundaries, but kept crossing them because she thought I could take it, hurting me repeatedly. That's why, when I was facing surgery alone, knocking on death's door, she was with her drunk first love, not even calling me once that night. That's why she could reminisce about her shameless sweet past right in front of me. With a loud bang, I shoved Lisa out and slammed the door shut. Only then did the world feel quiet. In the following days, as I wished, Lisa didn't disturb my life, but Mike frequently sent me messages. It was nothing more than updates about Lisa's condition. The following days, as I wished, Lisa didn't disturb my life, but Mike frequently sent me messages. It was nothing more than updates about Lisa's condition. Lisa locked herself in our old apartment every day, refusing to see anyone. She neither ate nor drank, her complexion deteriorating rapidly. After one of Mike's calls, I heard Lisa's weak voice in the background. Alex, I want to see you one last time. My heart raced, fearing she might do something drastic, so I hurriedly drove to the location Mike had sent. Upon arrival, I realized it was the park where Lisa and I had our first date. Here, I had solemnly confessed my love to her, promising to love and protect her. But time had passed, and the old park had been renovated, replaced by towering buildings. The old playground equipment was still there, but abandoned in a corner, worn out and lifeless, no longer filled with the vitality and joy of the past. Just like my feelings for Lisa, Lisa seemed to have aged overnight. Seeing her condition, I realized Mike's messages were true, but I didn't feel heartache. Instead, I felt guilt and helplessness. Lisa forced a smile and asked if I remembered this place. How could I not remember? I remember. But there's no need to reminisce. Is there? Seeing her hopeful eyes, I thought long and hard and could only come up with this response. She nodded in disappointment. Mike, standing nearby, grabbed my collar, his face twisted with anger, gritting his teeth. "How can you be so heartless? Look at her," I replied with a heavy punch. "I've had enough of you, Mike." There was a rush of satisfaction in my heart. It should have happened long ago. I always knew about the feelings between Lisa and Mike. As classmates, I saw their college romance, their graduation, and their eventual split due to the challenges of a long-distance relationship. After graduation, I thought Lisa and I, like many college friends, would never meet again, like two parallel lines that had never cross. Until later, when we met by chance in the city and our paths began to cross. We started as friends. When she argued with someone, I was there for her. When she made up, I was happy for her. Eventually, she went through a breakup. On a rainy night, she cried so hard she could hardly breathe. It was then that I realized she already had a significant place in my heart. I swore to help her move past this relationship and to make her better and better. In this city, we worked hard together, from having nothing to gradually improving our lives. Only then did I dare to confess my feelings to her. When I confessed, she smiled and playfully called my name, saying, "I knew you liked me long ago." After getting together, we were like any other couple, eating, watching movies, walking down the streets. We were each other's shelter in stormy times. Moving forward together, we had many unforgettable moments. I once thought Lisa and I could love each other forever until Mike reappeared in her life. Maybe, as Mike said, it was because of a job transfer, or perhaps the real reason was that he couldn't let go of Lisa and came to the city. Since Mike reappeared, our relationship began to decline like sliding down a playground slide. But did Lisa really find it so hard to let go of Mike? I don't think so. She just enjoyed my love while recklessly reminiscing about the past, being abandoned time and again, repeatedly disappointed. My feelings for Lisa slid to their lowest point. So I decided to let go because of the big contract I secured last time. I gained recognition from my superiors, and they want to promote me to the company's headquarters in a major city. I once had a similar opportunity for promotion, but I firmly refused because I couldn't bear to let Lisa go through another long-distance relationship. Even though I knew that even if it were a long-distance relationship, I would do better than Mike. But I still wasn't willing. For every broken part of Lisa, I was willing to help her pick up the pieces and mend them. For all the bittersweet experiences she went through, I was willing to cherish them. So, I never told Lisa about this. But after all this time, this opportunity came back to me, and I no longer had a reason to stay in this city. This time, I didn't tell Lisa either. There was no need to tell her. But before I left the city, Lisa came to find me. She brought 2 rings. With a somewhat surprised look on my face, she handed me the larger ring and asked if I could propose to her. She seemed to have prepared for the worst. She said that after this time, she wouldn't bother me anymore. I found it kind of amusing. Twice, I had wanted to propose to her, but both times, I couldn't because she bailed. Once she ditched me on the cold operating table, and once she ditched me amid the fireworks I'd prepared for her. Twice, I was forgotten on the path to happiness with her. I shook my head. Lisa unexpectedly burst into tears, seeing her sobbing appearance. I couldn't feel any sympathy because I remembered my own repressed emotions. I never easily shed tears in front of Lisa. No matter how wronged or upset I felt, I kept it to myself, never passing my bad feelings onto her. But such repression only brought more unreasonable treatment. That version of myself deserved more sympathy. Lisa, let's part on good terms. This time, it's truly a clean break. I moved to another city. In the following years, my career flourished, and I saw a broader world than I'd ever seen before. Occasionally, from old college friends, I heard news about Mike and Lisa. Mike went bankrupt, hitting rock bottom. He used to love posting suggestive content on social media to provoke me, but now he's nowhere to be seen. I guess life wore him down to the point where he no longer had the energy. I also learned that Lisa had found a new boyfriend, introduced by her family. When I heard this, I was surprised. When she was with me, she was so nostalgic about her past with Mike. But after we broke up, they still didn't end up together. Maybe that's just how people are, always craving what they can't have. One calm afternoon, I stood in the tallest office building holding a cup of coffee overlooking the city. I received a WeChat message from Lisa. She said, "I'm getting married. Can we meet one last time?" She said, "Alex, I hope you can come." I opened the friend interface and chose to block her. Lisa still hadn't changed her ways, and I didn't want to be Mike.
Oh, possessed with the gifted sub to Gunslinger. Feel the heat. I don't know if, like, because he's in the middle of the ad, I don't know if it's gonna just cut off the ad.
No, I don't think it does.
Just 1 second. Your community is back. What I was saying is don't get a gaming laptop. Unless like you absolutely need a laptop. But they're not good for long term. Cause you can't upgrade it, you can't really you can't do anything with it. W possessed. Yep, W possessed.
It's alright, I'm sending UP the bill. You're welcome, Gun. UP's gonna get my bill.
Hot dog is really hot. Gotta cut this AC on. It's fucking hot out here for a wiener. Wait. You can't be using your company card to give me subs? I can't have the company being like, who the fuck is this wiener man that you're giving our company money to?
I mean, you could.
Oh, I gotta zoom this camera back in. Can't be having that. Madness. Of course he can. Printer joined. I mean, we gotta change squads.
Yeah, I'm about to. I'm in the middle of flying right now.
What a beefcake. Oh, I think the AC just cut on? What a fucking... What? That's because it is 8:30. It did. W smart thermostats? They're not very smart, but... I was building a PC when COVID hit and abandoned the project because work got slow and canceled all my orders. Oof. You should build a PC.
100%. I'll help you put it together if you need.
You got rented over.